relationship management. Relationship management. Relationship management. Relationship management. Okay, so let's see what relationship management is all about. In this section, we'll be looking at building and maintaining positive relationships, effective communication and active listening, conflict resolution and negotiation skills, and collaboration and teamwork. So if you look at more of what we've been dealing with in emotional intelligence, it has been about building positive relationship, trying as much as we can to foster good communication, encourage conflict resolution and build conflict resolution and negotiation skills, and then foster collaboration and teamwork. Now, again, let's look at what that has to do with in relationship management. Relationship management refers to the skills and strategies used to build, maintain, and enhance relationships with individuals, teams, clients, and stakeholders. Relationship management is a vital skill that requires continuous effort, empathy, and effective communication. So it's not just to say you are interested in relationship building, but we must realize that it requires continuous effort, continuous empathy, and effective communication. By investing in building positive relationships, individuals and organizations can interact. Individuals and organizations can interact. And by interacting, they build supportive and collaborative work environments that drive success. So by investing in positive relationships, individuals and organizations create supportive and collaborative work environment that drives success. Now, what are the importance of relationship management? We say number one, strong relationship fosters trust, collaboration, and mutual support. And this is one of the things we want to have in our personal life and in our business relationships. Effective relationship management leads to improved teamwork, productivity, and overall success. Positive relationships contribute to client satisfaction, loyalty, and long-term partnership. Building and maintaining positive relationships. How do you build positive and maintain? How do you build and maintain positive relationship? Number one, establish rapport and trust through open and honest communication. If you want to have a relationship that is positive, a relationship that is working, then you must learn to establish rapport and trust through open and honest communication. Show respect, empathy, and understanding towards others. Mutually or perhaps nurture relationship by being reliable, responsive, and supportive. So when you want to build a positive relationship, then you must also learn to give positive fairness to that relationship. Learn to be reliable, learn to be responsive, learn to be supportive. All right. Okay, moving forward, conflict, effective communication, and active listening. How do you build on effective communication and active listening? Number one, we say clear and concise communication promotes understanding and prevents misunderstanding. Actively listen to others to demonstrate respect and gain insights into their perspective. If you want to have an effective and active listening in place, then you must actively listen to others. By actively listening to others, you show them, you demonstrate to them that you respect them. And by actively listening to, you are able to pick from those people what they are saying. Okay. Then tailor communication styles to different individuals and adapt diverse situations. Adapt to diverse situations. We must understand that, yes, we'll say active listening, but active listening might not be in the same style. Communication to different people have their own different ways. So we must learn to adapt our communication styles to the different persons that we deal with per time. All right. Okay. Then moving forward, conflict resolution and negotiation skills. Conflict is a natural part of relationship. Learn to address conflict constructively. Develop a problem-solving skills to find mutually beneficial solutions. Use effective negotiation techniques to reach agreement and manage disagreements. Okay, moving forward, conflict resolution refers to the process of addressing and resolving conflicts or disagreement in a constructive and mutually satisfactory manner. We just looked at the Thomas Kuhlman's model, where he spoke about the competing approach, the avoidance approach, the collaboration approach, the compromise approach, and then the you have the collaboration, you have the collaboration, competing, avoidance, and the other parts of the issue. So what you want to do with the conflict resolution model, like I said in the past class, is more of to move from the left to the right. Okay, from moving to the left to the right, what you want to do is, number one, you want to do your best to avoid undue competition. Okay, and of course, we've stated over and over that when you have a good awareness of yourself, have proper good awareness of yourself, then it is easier for you to focus on your own side and avoid competition. Okay, avoid competition. And then we'll also mention that when you have competition, it simply means that assertiveness is high and cooperativeness is low. So when people have a high assertiveness tendencies, they want to impress their own views on others, they want to impress their own notions on others, they have high tendencies of being oppressive. Let me use it that way. Assertiveness does not necessarily mean oppressive, but assertiveness simply means this is how I want it and you want it that way, all right? So when you have that tendencies of assertiveness in a conflict situation and the willingness to cooperate is low, then it leads to competition. So the people involved want to use all their resources, all their might, all their energy to fight the conflict instead of resolving it. So more of what we see in competition is that competition at the end of the day may turn out to have a positive, the positive side of the conflict might not be well harnessed. And even if the conflict were to be positive, due to the fact that we are now handling it on competitive basis, it might end up turning to negative consequences. And then we spoke about the avoidance kind of competition, where all the parties involved do not want to be part of it. They don't want to find a solution to the problem. And of course, by doing that also, we won't be able to harness the positive sides of the competition, all right? We won't be able to harness the positive sides of the competition. And then we've also had the issue of, or the aspect of conflict resolution that has to do with collaboration. Okay, collaboration. When you have collaboration, collaboration simply means that assertiveness is high and cooperativeness is high. So assertiveness is high, cooperativeness is high. Then you have what we call collaboration. And then you have compromise. Compromise is a situation where you may have to let go, or parties have to let go. Okay, we are not giving up completely on this, and where this party and this party, they have to come to a compromise. They have to come to a consensus on what they are willing to do to get the best of that conflict. So we need to understand that conflict resolution has to be constructive to avoid having the negative consequences of the conflict coming up. And let me remind us again that conflict resolves because we have energies, we have those energies within us coming out in form of exhibition of emotions, right? So we must also have very good understanding of ourselves, because we've already spoken about self-awareness. That's about identifying your emotions, identifying what causes those emotions, identifying how your emotions react with the emotions of others, and being able to put out clear indications of how you're going to manage those emotions. That's emotional awareness, okay? And we've also clearly stated that with good emotional awareness, then conflicts are easier to handle. So effective conflict resolution promotes understanding, preserves relationship, and leads to better outcomes. Key strategies to conflict resolution. Key strategies to conflict resolution. Number one, identify and acknowledge the conflict. Okay, don't pretend that the conflict does not exist. So if the conflict is there, acknowledge that yes, there is a conflict, there is a conflict, there is a conflict. Or if there are possible things that could cause conflict, identify them on time, the triggers that could lead to conflict. So acknowledge those things and be proactive about it. Then second, listen actively and empathetically to all parties involved. When a conflict ensues, one of the best things you could do is to listen to both parties empathetically and actively. By the time you have listened empathetically and actively to both parties, you will now know where to come in. That's why when you have a case with the police, they will tell you to write your statement. You write your statement, and the other person write his or her statement. You know, sometimes we think they don't read through those things. They actually do, okay? Because when you now, maybe if the case proceeds beyond where it is, and there is now beginning to have alterations in the statements, they will tell you, but in your statement you say this, but in your statement you say that. Okay, so writing down the statement is like a way of actively listening to them, and also empathetically, they can go through those things and know what is wrong and where they can bring remedy. Then seek common ground and shared interest. This is one of the ways to also handle conflict. We see what is happening in the ECOWAS community today. We have Niger, the coup that happened in Niger, and then we have the president of ECOWAS trying to use military power to go against Niger. But there had been signals that that kind of approach will only trigger a regional form of war. And if care is not taken, it could result to a world war. Why so? Because you have parties who are bent on assisting Niger in achieving their mandate. And I was listening to the radio yesterday. I was having listening to analysis of the whole situation. I've never been to Niger, but the people that were analyzing the situation, one of them said she had been to Niger, and she couldn't believe that there could have been such an underdeveloped nation as that in Africa. Okay, and these people have that allegation that they are the largest producer of uranium in West Africa. Okay, the largest producer. Okay, but in their own country, they don't use the uranium. However, this uranium is exploited and exported to Europe and to France, and they use it to power their nuclear energy, power their electricity, and all of that. Meanwhile, the Niger, where they are exploiting and exporting those things from, they don't have electricity. Okay, now I read on the paper where the coup plotter, the head of the coup plotter, said that they sell the uranium at $288 dollars per the measurement they use. But what the government now account to the people is about $11. So the difference was just too much. And one of the things that the analyst was saying was the need for the ECOWAS to understand that that they say they want to enforce democracy. Now, going to another man's country to enforce democracy is no longer a thing of common interest. It's now a thing of fighting or perhaps having a cooperation with those who are against them to now exploit them the more. Okay, so what the analyst was trying to say was that instead of thinking of using a military perspective to this, why don't you employ diplomacy? Okay, you don't have the right to invade a nation's supremacy, even if they belong to a particular regional authority. You don't have the right to invade their supremacy as a nation. Okay, and the analyst also said something. He said, how do you want to How do you want to install democracy in a nation when in your own country you can clearly see that democracy is bastardized? You've not been able to institute democracy in fair terms in your own country, and you want to go and install democracy in another man's country. People that are trying to fight their way up out of operations and the likes. And then the speaker in that analysis summarized with saying that what is happening in Niger should be a pointer to African countries that the people have the right under democratic conditions to fight for their rights. And when that starts, they are going to have to overthrow the government, and that might not be fair. So to avoid issues, find common interests. And one of the things they suggested, or some of the things they suggested, say, well, military coup is something that is internal to the country. It's not as though they are fighting any other country around them. It is internal to Niger. So now that they have engaged in that, they've unseated the sitting president. So what they could do, number one, is provide an asylum for the president. You cannot just imprison him. So provide an asylum for him. So if there are countries willing to accept him on asylum, you can send him to an asylum. Number two, instead of trying to invade them with military power, why don't you talk in terms of now that you have taken over, and of course, what we want to do is to install sanity and install democracy. So how long is it going to take you to install another democratic government? Okay, with those negotiations, you get to find common ground and shared interest. And another thing, one of the things that the analyst said is that the ECOWAS does not really have to go the extra mile of closing borders with asking the ECOWAS community to close borders with Niger. Okay, this is an internal affair. Why do you see? Because the person involved is a fellow president, but more important is the citizenry. So if this is what the citizenry want, why would you want to now punish the citizenry, hamper economic activities, not just across Niger, but with other neighboring countries, because you want to install democracy, which is not within your purview to do so? Okay, so with such arguments coming to place, you'll find that the best way to deal with such matters as such is to seek for common ground, shared interest, and then deal with that. Okay, so you didn't have any need to close down economic activity. There was no war, there is no killing, there is no, it wasn't a terrorist attack, it wasn't war, it was coup. So it shouldn't have stopped the people. And they gave instances, the analyst gave instances. Nigeria had its own problem with its political process, but as soon as the president was declared, US came and paid allegiance to the president and told them that whatever thing they are willing to do, they will be willing to work with them. That it doesn't mean that US is not aware that what went down in Nigeria wasn't truly a thorough democratic process. You have other countries that came by. What mattered to them most was the shared interest, not to destroy or try to enforce sanctions. No, but first of all, now that there's someone there, let's work with the person. If the country comes out tomorrow to change the person, why not? We'll still work with whoever is there. So the interest is more on the citizenry, on the national development, not on destruction of relationships. All right. Then the next key strategy is to generate creative solutions through brainstorming. ECOWAS is sitting today on the same issue on Niger. So before the end of today, or by the end of today, we hear what issues they are coming up with. But what they are coming up with is a brainstorming session. They came for a brainstorming session. So let's find out what they want to do, or how they are going to deal with that. Then communicate openly and honestly to reach a resolution. Okay, another thing also I read or I heard over the radio yesterday, I think it was around the 4 o'clock news, was that someone from the office of the president had to come out clearly to state that Nigeria is not the one enforcing to use military power over Niger. How is ECOWAS' decision, not Nigeria's decision, that the president or the chairman of ECOWAS is doing what he's doing as the chairman of ECOWAS, not as a Nigeria. So what are they trying to do? They are trying to communicate openly and communicate clearly that Nigeria has no individual, there's no personal interest in whatsoever thing that is happening there. However, this is what ECOWAS is saying. But for the fact that the president of ECOWAS or the chairman of ECOWAS is not the Nigerian president, it is now being perceived that it is the Nigerian people that are trying to do that. So why that is being done clearly and honestly, we should also understand that if anything should go haywire, Nigerians will definitely see Nigerians as opposition and see them as enemies, because the person that sat on the throne when that decision was taken was in Nigeria. So irrespective of how we communicate openly and honestly in this matter, we need to find other diplomatic means. The Senate, the Nigerian Senate advised the president to find other political means to solve or survey the situation. Okay, and they also reminded the president that his responsibility first is to the Nigerian citizens. ECOWAS is secondary, and having to leave the ECOWAS and then moving down to Niger to now enforce some sort of sanctions using Nigerian military is out of it. Okay. Then the next is implement and follow up on agreed solutions. So when you have brainstormed and you've agreed on the solution, then follow up on how to get those solutions up and running. Okay. Negotiation skills. Negotiation is a process in which two or more parties engage in discussions to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. When we talk about negotiation skills in governance, you hear things like diplomacy, diplomatic assignment, diplomatic moves. Whenever you hear the word diplomacy in government, is more of negotiation. Nigerian government has sent a number of emissaries, even the people that went on individual notes. Salisu came back from Niger, was it yesterday? And he went to brief the president on what he went for, and the outcome of what he went for. We had Abdul Salam and some other emirs that were sent to Niger, okay, to go and also look at what's happening there. But unfortunately, they say they didn't give them a listening ear. All right, they didn't really go well. But what these things are all about is about negotiation, okay? Having to come to share common interest, having to come to reach common grounds, and then find a way to come out of conflicts. Strong negotiation skills enable individuals to advocate for their interests and find win-win solutions and maintain positive relationships. Key negotiation skills. Number one, preparation. Preparation involves gathering information, setting goals, identifying potential trade-offs, gathering information, setting goals, identifying certain potential trade-offs. Okay. Then you have active listening, which is pay attention to the needs and concerns of the other party. Effective communication, clearly articulate your position, needs, and propose solutions to the problem or to the conflict. Problem solving, collaborate to explore creative options and find mutually beneficial outcomes. Flexibility, be open to compromise and alternative solutions. Assertiveness, advocate for your interest while respecting the interest of others. 7, maintaining relationships. Consider the long-term impact of the negotiation or relationship and work towards preserving it. Okay, so let me say something about this last one. The speaker yesterday over the radio said something that was quite impressive, okay, which I was never aware. Okay, he spoke about the Nigerian dam, the Kainji dam, that provides electricity to Nigeria. He said when the dam, okay, of course, he said the dam, the dam was moved, or the river from the dam is from the Niger side, the River Niger, okay? And that River Niger spans all the way from Niger. So Niger is on the upper coast. Okay, so if Niger decides to also create their own dams, the flow to Nigeria will not be there to supply the electricity that we need. So they said there was some level of consensus when the dam was being constructed, and the position was that Nigeria was going to get the dam to themselves, okay, but they are to supply electricity to Niger. However, that supply is not going to be free. Niger is going to be paying for the electricity. And the analyst asked the question, what if you try to invade Niger? It is not as though the electricity you promised Niger that you've been so faithful in doing that, all right? So what if Niger wakes up and says, okay, yes, we want to severe, you've blocked access to the road, you've blocked access to the air, you've blocked access to water to Niger. What if Niger comes up and says, okay, now we want to block the water supply, the Niger River supply to Nigeria? What if we block it? Okay, then we'll have to suffer the pain. So when we are negotiating, we should look at the long-term consequences of the agreement and try as much as we can to maintain relationships rather than destroying them. All right, this is very, very important. Collaboration and teamwork. Collaboration is the process of working together towards a common goal, leveraging the strengths and the expertise of individuals to achieve shared objectives. Collaboration enhances creativity, problem solving, and overall productivity, leading to better outcomes and positive work environment. Foster a collaborative work environment that values diverse perspectives, encourage teamwork, cooperation, and open sharing of ideas. Leverage the strength of each team member for collective success. For collective success. So when you go back to the competencies of EI, okay. Now, when we say the word competency simply means the knowledge area, the skills that you need to acquire to be able to function in that particular discipline. So when we say emotional intelligence competencies, we're talking about the requisite knowledge, the requisite skills, technical know-how that you need to have to be able to say you are this, right? Okay, so if you go back to EI competencies, we started from self-awareness, and we said with good self-awareness, you reduce competition, but you enhance collaboration. You reduce competition and you enhance collaboration. So we must therefore pay good attention to self-awareness. That's why I will still recommend us the website we provided yesterday. While you do the assignment of trying your best to have your EI chart, which we recommend seriously, your EI chart is that you have the chart that will give you your vision statement, your mission statement, your goals and objectives, and then you have your emotions that are going to help you achieve achieve the visions and the goals and objectives, and the negative emotions that are fighting against it. All right. So putting all together, okay, then you'll be able to move forward. However, with your EI chart and with the tool that we used yesterday, you can continuously check through, see how you've been improving over time until you find yourself well enough so you can see how well you've gone in terms of awareness, in terms of self-management, in terms of social awareness, in terms of relationship management. All right. Okay, let's move forward. Key elements of collaboration. You have shared vision. Okay, shared vision, aligning all team members towards a common purpose and goal. Number two, clear communication, establishing open and transparent channels of communication to facilitate information sharing and understanding. You have three, trust and respect, building a foundation of trust, respect, and psychological safety within the team. You have diversity and inclusion, valuing and incorporating diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and skills. Role clarity, clearly defining the roles, responsibilities, and expectations for each team member. They have collaboration tools, utilizing appropriate tools and technology to facilitate communication, coordination, and collaboration. Then you have conflict resolution, addressing conflicts constructively and finding win-win solutions to promote harmonious collaboration. Teamwork. Teamwork is the collective effort and cooperation of individuals working together towards a common goal, leveraging their complementary skills and expertise. Effective teamwork enhances problem solving, innovation, and overall team performance. We cannot say we cannot overemphasize the importance of emotional intelligence in organization via teamwork. So we must therefore pay attention to making sure that our team members are on the high side of EI so that they can provide or produce better teamwork to our organization. Key factors in teamwork: number one, trust and support. Trust and support. Creating an environment of trust and support where team members feel safe to express ideas, ask for help, and take risks. Not the environment that when they talk, they now feel oppressed. You have communication, promoting open and clear communication to facilitate coordination, information sharing, and effective decision making. Interdependence, recognizing that each team member's contributions are essential and interdependent for success. Then you have collaboration, actively engaging in collaborative activities such as brainstorming, joint problem solving, and decision making. Accountability, taking individuals and collective responsibility for the team's goals and outcomes. They have adaptability, being flexible and adaptive to changes, challenges, and evolving circumstances. Recognition and appreciation, acknowledging and appreciating the efforts and contributions of team members. Now, key takeaways as we round up on this particular section: you have relationship management involves building, maintaining, and enhancing connection with others. Conflict resolution and negotiation skills contribute to resolving conflicts and reaching win-win solutions. Effective communication and active listening are essential for successful relationship management. Collaboration and teamwork lead to improved productivity, innovation, and overall success. All right, so thank you so much for listening. I would like to know if there is any question. If there are questions, I would like to take them now before I proceed to the next program. Questions, comments? Let's do that very fast. Questions, if any?